Facing Waves is brought to you in part by Eddyline Kayaks, legendary designs since 1971. With an extremely high concentration of whales, the San Juan Islands are a mecca for whale watching. Several tour operators explore the surrounding waters. A whale museum provides insight on the magnificent creatures, and Limekiln State Park is arguably one of the best whale watching locations in the world.
I've had the privilege of being able to work here for the last 25 years, recording the killer whales when they pass by the lighthouse. And this is Limekiln Point State Park. I think it's the best public accessible viewing area for killer whales anywhere in the world. You know, we've determined over the last 25 years that 40% of the time when the whales pass by the lighthouse here, there's at least one whale near the rocks. I don't know of any place in the world that can match that. During those pass-bys, we record all of the surface behavior of the whale. We record all of the boats that are with the whales. We record also, thanks to the Whale Museum, we have hydrophones in the water here so we can record their vocalizing. And we try to look for relationships between what they do at the surface, what the tides are doing, what the weather is like, what the boats are doing, and the list goes on and on. Since 1990, we have been recording who passes the lighthouse, that is, which killer whales pass by. When we put all that information, or at least a lot of it, here on this calendar, and you can see that we've had quite a few pass-bys this year. So this is our record, and it's there for the public to take a look at.
With an abundance of whales in the area, the Eddyline crew meet up with Mystic Sea Charters to learn what their whale watching tours are all about.
We're at the Eddyline factory this morning, a little bit of fog, but the plan is to get on the Mystic Seas whale watching charter boat with a bunch of other interested whale enthusiasts and get a ride out to some great whale watching territory, and then hopefully jump in the water and get some paddling in as well. This is going to be interesting. Last night, talking about the Mystic Seas, we knew we had a ride, we knew we could get our kayaks in, but they're not exactly equipped to putting kayaks into the water off a large boat. So right now we think we're going to have to throw the boats overboard and then cannonball in after them.
Anything you say but a kiss costs double and she don't ever close her eyes.
We had the boats on the very top, and then we unfortunately had to drag them through the viewing area and then stick them out this small little port out the back onto the transom. Launching off the back with the kayaks was certainly different in terms of having to just jump in the water and then do a scramble re-entry. When Ethan and I were out there with the orcas and they started coming up around us, we were just all smiles.
I've been out on the water one time with whales and it was just absolutely exhilarating. They know we're out there in our kayaks. They're checking you out as much as we're checking them out. It's just really exhilarating to be at the water level with them in a kayak. You can really tell the intelligence of these animals and that we're real visitors in their home.
But the nights are long and rough. Funny how a little bit turns into more and more until you can't ever get enough.
After the orca pod dispersed a bit, we got back on the Mystic Sea and there were reports of humpback whales farther south. So we headed there and we were able to find them, fortunately. And we got back in the water and we paddled around, and it seemed to be that there was a mother whale and her calf playing around. Interestingly enough, they take about 5 to 10 minutes every time they dive, and so they would pop up a couple times and then they disappear. But it seemed to work out pretty well, and Ethan and I were certainly having a blast with it. We got back onto the Mystic Sea after they seemed to be gone for a while, and then they just surprisingly came back up again. And And they actually sat there and played for about 15 minutes straight.
You are my golden ring. Your heart is strong as a rock to my soul. Don't take a step back into my head. Save the best for the last tonight.
We think a mom and a little baby were surfacing and just playing and frolicking in the glass-like water. One of the little baby was playing in the kelp beds as if it was getting a back itch from the kelp. And we really had a show. They would surface for about 5 or 10 minutes, fill up on air, and go back down, and it's just really neat. The boat was shut down, all the motors, and so it was quiet. We could hear everything, and all the passengers, I think, knew this was a real magic moment. The captain said he'd been doing this for 3 or 4 years and hadn't had a day like today, so kudos to the Mystic Sea. We just had an amazing time. Beginner's luck, I guess.
Being able to paddle with 3 different types of whales. We had orcas, humpbacks, minke whales. It was once in a lifetime experience. No, hopefully not once in a lifetime. Hopefully multiple times.